defenseman from Erie of the OHL, Jamie Drysdale. Jamie, thanks for joining us.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right. Let's get right to the questions, and we'll start with Helene St. James of the Detroit Free Press. Go ahead, Helene.
Hi, Jamie. Two questions, if I could, please. How would you describe your interviewing process for the Detroit Red Wings? And secondly, is there a defenseman you grew up kind of wanting to pattern your game after, or one who's in the NHL right now that is kind of somebody who you see as a...
Yeah. I think in regards to the process with Detroit so far, I've had a few calls with them and, with their staff and management, and I think they've gone well. I think the main purpose was to kind of just try and get to know me more as a player, just ask me some questions that they might not gotten to ask me during the year, and things regarding my style and what I think I can do on the ice, and kind of what type of person I am off the ice. So, I think it's been a pretty smooth process. I think it's been a good one as well, but, so just kind of waiting to see what happens with that on draft day. And then, in regards to my style and NHL defenseman now, I think, for me, it's pretty hard to look away from the three young D and Miro Heiskanen and Cale Makar and Quinn Hughes in the NHL right now, who have kind of been putting on a show in these playoffs. And, for Heiskanen, he's still doing so. So I think, just how they control the play, the confidence they have and possess, and the skill that they have, I think is really something, pretty cool. And I hope to kind of follow in their footsteps.
Thanks, Helene. Next question comes from Mark Scheig of the Hockey Writers. Go ahead, Mark.
Hello, Jamie. Just wanted to expound on the work that BJ Adams does with you, especially on your defensive game. Just what have you two been working on, and where do you feel like you've seen the biggest improvement on the defensive side of your game?
Yeah, well, me and Beej work a lot on my defensive side of the game. I think the main thing that he wants me to do, and that he's kind of brought my confidence up, is using my skating to my advantage, not only on the offensive end, but on the defensive end. And more specifically, I think in closing gaps in the neutral zone and in the D zone. I think that anytime, a D has the opportunity to close off plays in the neutral zone and shift possessions and the puck, I think that's really good for a team. So I think that's probably the biggest thing, is just using my feet to gap up, close plays before they get into our end. And, if they do, on the flip side, just closing gaps, giving these high end players as little time as you can to prevent them from making a play that everyone knows they can. So I think that's probably the biggest thing defensively, is just trusting my feet and using it to close gaps and take time and space away from players.
Thank you, Mark. Next question comes from John Warrow of the Associated Press. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Jamie. Thanks for taking some time here. I'm taking a bit of a stab in the dark, but there seems to be a lot of top prospects from the Toronto area, which is it's been a while since that's really happened. How familiar are you with guys like Byfield and Cole and Perfetti and those guys? And what do you make of that group that's come out of that region?
Yeah. Well, you're pretty bang on. I grew up playing against and with Cole and Q, and I think that they're obviously incredible players. I think definitely not fun to see on the other side of the ice, but at the same time, I love the challenge when growing up, and even to this day when they're on the other side coming down on me. So I think they're definitely both special players, and to have the ability to play against them and with them pretty much since I was 10 years old is something I think pretty cool, and a lot of fun to grow up playing with these guys.
Thank you, John. Next question comes from John Mattis of The Score. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Jamie. I was hoping to piggyback that last question and ask you about Quinton Byfield. How do you defend a guy like him based on the size, the skill, the smarts, all that? Like, what's the game plan?
Yeah. So for me, I think, when you have a guy like Q that can, like you said, just gonna repeat that, he's got the size, the speed, the hands, and, pretty much all the tools you need to be a high-end forward. So I think for me, it's just a matter of using my feet and using my brain, I think, is the best way I can go about defending a guy like that, giving him as little time and space as I can. You know, having a good stick, closing on him as quick as I can, because the second that guy gets a step on you, I think you're kind of toast. So I think just preventing that from happening, using my feet, using my skating to keep up with him and close the gap so he doesn't have the ability to make the high end play that he's capable of doing.
Thanks, John. Next question comes from Sylvain Saint Laurent of Le Droit. Go ahead, Sylvain.
Hi, Jamie. We've seen so many highly skilled young defensemen come through the ranks and become quality NHL players in the last couple of years. It's hard to compare them with each other, but can you give us a few examples of elements in some of those players' games that you're trying to emulate, and who would your models be right now?
Yeah. So, you know, I think that the qualities of the defenseman that I think I kind of watch, the things that I like to look at and see and want to kind of put in my game are one, the confidence that these young defensemen have and these defensemen have in their game. I think they know they can make a play, and if they see it, they're gonna try and make it. I think that's big. I think that's kind of the way I want to play. If I want to have the confidence to make a play, if I see it, not kind of refrain from that. So that's one thing, as well as obviously, you know, just being mobile on the ice, having the ability to get up and down the ice. And so you're not a liability on the back end, but you're also can contribute on the offensive side of the game. So I think that those are kind of the two things that I look at in kind of these defensemen these days, the skilled defensemen. And in regards to specific names, I'd say, like I said earlier, Heiskanen, Makar, and Hughes. And then obviously I'm a Toronto boy, so I grew up watching and still do Morgan Riley and how he plays and how he can play both ends of the ice. So that's kind of what I look at and what I look for in these D, and little things that I can take away from their game and put in mine, I think will benefit me for sure.
Thank you, Sylvain. I have time for a couple more. Let's go to Mike Moriali from NHL.com. Go ahead, Michael.
Hey, Jamie. So you were one of just 17-year-old D-men to play for Canada at the World Juniors since '91. What did you take away from that experience with the role you played?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, I think I took a lot away. For me, from day one, once after finding out I made that team, my coach, the D coach Andre Turdy, kind of told me, he said, "You're here for a reason. You know, just stick with it, and you know, I think, you know, an opportunity may come up where you can play more minutes. If not, then, you know, just do everything you can when you get on the ice." He kept saying that he trusted me in my game, and you know, I think that was big for me. And you know, I think anytime you have the opportunity to play for a team like that, of that caliber, with those players, and they, you know, on the flip side, against the players that were in that tournament, you got to embrace it and use it as a challenge. I think for me, just when I got the opportunity to go on the ice, it was, you know, just try and do what I can. Don't try to overcomplicate things. Just play my game and have confidence in the plays that I'm making. And I think that, you know, for me, having that opportunity to be put in a good position in the semifinals where I got to play a good amount of minutes, I think was really, really big for me. And I think I just tried to do my best to embrace it and you know, stick to my game, not overcomplicate, but not you know, hold on to the puck too long or things like that. So I think that it was definitely an awesome experience, and you know, I learned a lot. And I think that when it comes to a team like that, then you just have to learn to, you know, embrace your role. I think everyone wanted to win, and going into that, I think in order to do that, you have to embrace your role and do everything you can to be the best at it.
Thanks, Michael. Well, Jamie, as a bunch of people already said, young defensemen who can move the puck are the most exciting players in our game right now, and we can't wait to see you join the group. But of course, the draft is first. I hope you have a good time with that in 2 weeks, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Okay.